everybody, welcome back to Butler's Garageless Axe, and I've got some bad news for you. My wife was involved in a hit and run back down in South Carolina, and the asshole tore off with my wife and my infant child in the car, and they did quite a number on it. They tore up the fender flare here. They got the fender, of course, the door, the Nerf bar. Plastic molding's actually okay. You see where they smacked it initially and then dragged across the truck. They ripped off that trim piece right there. And what pisses me off the most is out of all of this, they got part of the quarter panel right here, and that really upsets me. That's going to cost some money to fix. So what happened? All right. Oh yeah, they got the mirror too, and the housing is cracked, so I get to replace the whole damn thing. I thought I was gonna get away with a mirror. That would have been a lot cheaper, but no. At least I can salvage this because it looks like it clips in here and on there and blah blah blah. I'll get it out. Anyway, so what happened? Well, the insurance company picked it up and they took it to Copart in Savannah, Georgia. From there, they deemed that it was a total loss. So they were going to take the Suburban, but fortunately, this is registered in South Carolina, and I requested to use the salvage rebuild clause. So instead of $7,800 what they're offering me, they're going to give me $6,500. Now, doing this the right way, frugally, but doing it nice, this is probably going to run me about $3 grand to repair, which is kind of a blessing in disguise. All it's going to take for me is to get new doors, used doors, but I think I gotta talk to the paint shop first. It might be a lot easier to get brand new OEM shells so I can swap all the guts out because they'll be primed and all that jazz, and it might be easier to paint, so they won't have to put as many man hours sanding down old doors and this, that, and the third. The shells would probably be way better anyway. Now, I could get really cheap shells off the internet like eBay and stuff, but from what I've learned, these second-hand parts or second aftermarket part companies often use a thinner metal, and the OEM doors are way better. So I found a GM parts website. I don't know it off the top of my head. There's like 100 of them, but they sell OEM GM parts, and I can get door shells for about $3.50 a pop primed, which I think that's about the way I go. Fender flares are toast, so I gotta replace those. I talked to a body shop about this, and I sent him a picture, and he said he wouldn't quote me because he said he's been burned before. I guess whatever, however that works. But he said yes, they can definitely repair that without tearing up the whole quarter panel here. Because if that was the case, that would be so goddamn expensive, and that would really pull the wind out of my sails here on bringing this bad boy back up to spec and looking new and pretty. Still deciding if I should have the handle squirted as well, because just over the years wear and tear. And I thought I saw something the other day where they're kind of cracking. Not this one. Not this one either. I don't know. But the it's just really the skins. It's cosmetic. This truck's problem right now. The doors, of course, they barely close, but from what I gather, the latch is not effed up. Neither is that too. Hinges look okay. That was another big concern I had, was this pillar right here. When wife first sent me the pictures, because she lives out of town, she's about to move, but she sent me pictures of this, and as soon as I saw the damage on the outside, I was scared that this pillar right here would be toast. That would make it a lot more expensive and probably not salvageable, depending on how bad the damage is or what's going on or how far you want to take it. But by the looks of it, as an untrained eye, looks pretty good to me. Yeah. So let's talk about the dependability of this truck. I just took this on a big road trip from South Carolina and dragged a 6x12 U-Haul, fully loaded, all the way up to Virginia. And this truck has now about 186,000 miles. That's amazing. I mean, it pulled it no problem. I mean, the brakes need work, and that's going to be part of the rebuild here coming up. We're going to do the doors and all that stuff, and also go around and fix other knickknacks. I'm going to upgrade the rotors and upgrade the brake pads. I've already talked to my contacts at Carbotech and to see if they can whip me up some nice brand new ceramic brake pads. I got to rebuild the parking brake on this thing. The gauge cluster, let me tell you this, just a fair warning. When you go to install an aftermarket unit in one of these guys, there is a metal bar behind there with that from the factory. It's just because the factory radio in there, I don't know. It's like a structure thing, but at the same time, it's not integral to the dash structure. So you have to cut it out. And the best way to cut it out is get you a zip tool, or what's known as a fine tool. And it's like an oscillating tool, and it like that, and it slices stuff right through butter, especially with a fresh blade. I've got a Dremel personally, and it did great. Now, if you do that, make sure you pull the gauge cluster out first. The excessive vibrations that it caused just knocked out almost all of the light bulbs in this gauge cluster. So now I have to send it off and get it fixed anyway. The oil gauge, correct me if I'm wrong, I'd love to see it in the comments, but I don't think the oil gauge is working properly, because when you turn this thing on, it goes straight up to 80. I think it's supposed to be like somewhat, I don't know. If I'm wrong, please call me out, and that way I can learn something too. So, next, that's part of it. I got a big ass list. I probably should just stop this and read it off, but I'm gonna replace the tail lights. I've got brand new struts and shocks for the glass and the tailgate. And funnily enough, like the day this thing got wrecked, I had just gotten a brand new bow tie in the mail, so I'll pop that on. I think I might just pop that on tonight or first thing tomorrow, just to, I don't know, just to kind of spiritually get this ball rolling. So the next step is to get the title. I don't know where the hell that is. I gotta find it, and I gotta mail it off so the insurance company can convert it to a salvage title with the state, and then they'll give me, they'll cut me a check. And that door needs a new lining. I'm gonna have the body shop do that. Anyway, they're gonna cut me a check, and then I'm gonna start working on the truck. That's why the Volvo is gonna be taking a seat for a while. The wife actually has it now, and she's gonna struggle with it, with the 2 kids, but that's just the way it is. I don't want my wife and 2 children driving around this in the condition it currently is in. It's perfectly functional and fine, but I just don't want her to have to deal with this and constantly stare at it, because it'll bum her out. So there's that. What else am I doing this thing? Oh yeah, I'm going to finish buying all the components of the audio build, and we're gonna make this thing super sweet. So we're gonna do like 3-way components in each door, although I might take the mid-range component that would go in the back door and stick it in the pillars back there of the truck, and just have a tweeter and woofer in there, just for filler. And of course, mid-range will go in that, and woofer go in that, and the tweeter will go up in that pillar. I'm going to get a JL stealth box for the subwoofer. I've got CT Sounds amps that should be on their way. They did like a little special deal where you bought for like $330 bucks or something like that. You could pick up a 4-channel and a mono block. It was like a pre-buy deal. They acted like it's over in 10 minutes, but I noticed that they kept refreshing that clock a lot. So that deal might still be around. What I'll do is I'll put the link in the comments if you're interested in that stuff. What else to do? So the 3-way component speakers. So far, I'm sitting looking at the new Sony 3-way component system that looks pretty good to me. I think at about $400 a pair. That's a pretty good sweet spot. Might find them a little cheaper. I just gotta look around. I'm currently trying to work deals for the JL Stealth Box. Unfortunately, I'm not really popular enough on YouTube to really put any weight on it, but I found one online for like 530 bucks shipped. So what I'm trying to do is talk to a couple local shops around here and see if they'll, wheel and deal a little bit with me, but on the guise of, hey, I'll keep this money local if you want it, and cut me a deal here, because I'm not paying $600 for that shit. What else? Nothing really comes to mind at the moment. There's tons of stuff. I'm going to think all this stuff as soon as I upload the video, but I really should be reading off the list. Anyway, catch you guys later.